Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to Leadership Lessons with Sherry. Hopefully, you've been getting a little nugget each week of something that you can incorporate into your leadership skills, style, your career, whatever it is that you're doing, because that's the purpose of all that I put together, just so that I can help you move toward being the best leader that you can be. This week, I want to talk about something that is pretty relevant to the times, because I saw this in a Facebook post this weekend, and a lot of people had a comment or an opinion on the fact. Basically, the post was about taking care of your people. And I talk a lot about, leadership is all about the personal relationships, the business relationships, the professional relationships, but really taking care of your best people, right? If you have people that you want to be able to do the work that you want them to be able to do, to stay focused on your mission and vision, and to continue to help you move towards your goals, then you have to take care of them. Because when we start to not take care of them, that's when they're going to feel unappreciated. They're going to feel like the work that they're doing does not have purpose any longer, and they'll eventually leave you. And if they don't leave you, they're going to be miserable, and that's not anything we ever want to have happen. So basically, the post was, it was actually in a school leadership community, and it was about taking care of your teachers. And it went something like this, and I'm going to paraphrase, so please don't quote me, but it said something about the principal can be the reason, or is the reason, why many talented teachers quit. Now, right there, that's probably a pretty loaded statement. But having said that, I believe that anything can be possible, right? Life is going to be sometimes great and sometimes not so great. You're going to have leaders that are going to be great, and you're going to have leaders that are not so great with people. You're going to have bosses the same way. You're going to have people in your own personal relationships. It's just, that's a fact of life, right? Now, do I believe that the principal is the sole reason why we have a teacher shortage? I do not. I do not believe that it's always the only reason that people leave. However, I do believe that maybe this person who posted it is having a very difficult time with their leader, and that might be the only thing that's going on that's causing this person to be unhappy. That's all I'm going to say about that. But it made me start to think about the fact of accountability. Because here's the thing. We all have to be accountable for the work that we do, right? I had to be accountable as the principal. I had to be accountable as the teacher. We all have responsibilities. And in order to receive our paycheck, we have to fulfill our responsibilities. And if someone is not there holding us accountable, then are we going to get those done? I think about the current position I'm in now, being my own boss. I have to discipline myself with checklists and with items, and basically it's whether I'm generating money or not to pay the bills. But there's got to be some kind of accountability even for myself, from myself, right? Because otherwise I would just lay in bed all day, because that's possible. Not that I would do that, but you see what I mean. So it started to make me think about this whole thing of accountability and how it's inevitable. We have to be held accountable. However, I think there's a way that you can do it, and I call it accountability with understanding. Let me explain this to you just a little bit. I have worked in several different places over my life as an adult, and even as a older teenager. And I can remember each specific job that I had, and the ones that I enjoyed most and the ones that I did not enjoy at all. And what the similarities were for the ones that I enjoyed the most is that I was held accountable, but it was done in a way that nurtured my skills. So if I had to accomplish something and I didn't know how to do it, I wasn't reprimanded or made to feel bad because I didn't have that skill. Rather, my leader found a way for me to get the skill. I remember that when I was able to accomplish things that we were set out to accomplish, we were recognized for it. And I remember a time I was having a very difficult year, and I needed a little more empathy and understanding from my boss, from my leader. I was still getting the work done. I wasn't 100% myself. Not to say that I was totally taken off the hook, so to speak, but there was some understanding. And that's when my leader stepped in and said, how can I help you? What can I do? How can I make this easier? I think about the times where I was not happy in my positions that I worked in. And I felt almost the exact opposite, that if I didn't know something and needed some training or some support, I was belittled or looked upon as if I could not accomplish something. I didn't have the skills, so you're not going to be able to learn the skills. So, we're just going to write you off. I remember being in places where I was struggling every once in a while as a teacher. I remember a year that my husband and I were having, ex-husband now, but having some difficulties, and I needed a little bit of understanding, and I didn't always get it. And so it made me feel worse about myself, which then in turn caused me to beat myself up rather than to continue to put in as much effort as I possibly could and get as far as I possibly could, if that makes any kind of sense. So I share all of that because I do believe that as the leader, we have to take the responsibility, of course, to put in the systems, the progress monitoring, whatever it is we're going to be doing to ensure that we're moving in the right direction and that we're moving the needle forward, right? That we're making the progress, that we're moving toward whatever our point of success is. We need to be able to clearly communicate those so that everybody on the team knows exactly what it is that they're expected to do. However, we have to know that when somebody is not getting to that point, there might be a valid reason, not an excuse. And I see so many times leaders, especially newer leaders, are so set on, I have to make a name for myself. They don't take the time to step back and look at, well, what's going on? What's really going on here? And how do I support this as the leader? I think that goes back to that whole manager versus leader, because my opinion, Sherry Dixon, take it for what it is that when you are managing people, it's not about the people, it's about the work. And when you are leading people, it's about the people, and the work will take care of itself. So, what are our takeaways for today? As you are moving into a leadership role, or you're currently in one, if you're building your skill and you're trying to be the best leader that you can be, I definitely say that we need to remember accountability. That's what it's all about. We have a job to do, and we have to get the job done. We have to ensure that we all know our roles and responsibilities and what that accountability or what that target is going to look like, right? We have to communicate that. We have to know that our people know 100% our expectation. We cannot just assume that they know what it is. We have to communicate it clearly. But when we are having difficulties, and this is the biggest takeaway from today, I want you to step back and I want you to really dig into the situation. Don't make assumptions. I truly believe that people are inherently good. They don't wake up in the morning and just think, okay, I'm going to make somebody's life miserable today. Now, are there people like that out there? Yes, I'm a realist. I'm not a woohoo girl, and I'm not a Pollyanna. But I do know that most times when somebody is struggling to get the work done that they're responsible to do, there is some kind of reason. I don't say take excuses. And you'll know the difference as you do this and dig into it. But you do have to be understanding. If there is a reason for this not to happen, as the leader, it's our responsibility to be able to make the work doable. Give the support, give the training, give the motivation, whatever it is that you need to give. Don't give in to the excuse. Okay? But give in to the understanding, to know that the people are working hard. And if you are just there about the work and not about the people, that's going to be the key in wanting somebody wanting to leave you. Now, as we leave out today, I do want you to remember this. You have been working hard to build your team. You have been working to make sure you have the right people in the right places doing the right work. If we don't use understanding when it comes to holding our people accountable, and we start to lose our employees, I can promise you, you're going to do twice the amount of work, because now you're going to need to go back and you're going to need to retrain someone, or you're going to need to fill that position if they leave and train that person to be where the previous person was. So just some things to think about in leadership lessons this week. All right, y'all, have a great rest of your week, and I will talk to you next week.